guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today, Series 11 is finally over. Alright, and you know, I'm a little bit, it's a shame there's no Doctor Who, but we're getting a New Year's special, whoopee. But the next series is not till Series 20. But obviously, I reviewed episode 1, thought it was epic, reacted to the TARDIS in episode 2, but I didn't actually get to talk about the rest of the series because I didn't have time. So I wanted to do an overall review of the series, my thoughts of the series, what I hoped they'd have done that they didn't do. So yeah, so let's start. Episode 1, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. Fantastic episode, I loved it, you saw my reaction of it, I thought it was a great episode, and obviously it was a Chibnall episode. Out of Chibnall's episodes this series, The Woman Who Fell to Earth is probably the best one. Episode 2, The Ghost Momentum. Again, it was an okay episode, but it wasn't the greatest. Episode 3, Rosa, was absolutely fantastic. It was one of the best, if not the absolute best episode of Series 11. It was so beautifully written. I love the fact there weren't some really weird alien monster, bog-eyed monster that was the villain. It was just an ordinary looking guy from the future. And it fit with it, and the main villain of the episode was racism. And it fit well with the story. It's a fantastic episode, and one of my favourite episodes of Doctor Who in New Who. Downside, I can't really think off the top of my head any downsides of the episodes, but it would have been nice if the episode had just not been a little bit rushed towards the end. And it's the same for a lot of the episodes toward this series. I don't think it was the writing. I think it was probably written quite well paced, but I think the way they edited it this season, and they've deleted scenes, I think they've deleted loads of scenes this series, that it's actually made the editing and the back half of the episodes actually look rushed. Anyway, moving on, we have episode 4, which I'm not sure what episode 4 was. Episode 4 was Arachnids in the UK. Surprisingly, I actually enjoyed it. It would have been nice without Trump guy in it, even though he hates Trump. But it was a bit funny to see them take the mick out of Trump because I can't stand Trump, so you know, it was a bit funny to do that. I did like the episode overall. I wish we'd have got to see more of the spiders, and it would be nice to see those spiders again. And it would have been nice if they'd have somehow been related to the ones from Planet of the Spiders, from Metamorphosis 3, or I think it's called. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think it's Metamorphosis 3 or something similar. It'd be nice if they were related to those particular spiders, and we'd have had another kind of Planet of the Spiders kind of thing, but Arachnids in the UK, but we didn't. Episode 5 was the worst episode of Doctor Who ever, apart from any episode of Series 6. The Sandler Condom, it was rubbish. I love the Pating, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the Pating. It was really rushed, it looked too bleak, a bit boring. I thought the Pating was a cute monster. I just don't I think it reminded me of the Adipose. It really did remind me of the Adipose. And it felt like that's the vibe they were going for. So overall, I didn't really like that episode. Next, Demons of the Punjab, another fantastic historical-based episode. Of course, it had a guest writer. It was quite a good episode. I'm glad that it did feel a little bit better paced, but it did seem to jump about a bit towards the end. And I'm so glad that they had that beautiful moment where the Doctor's like, no, we can't interfere with history. And I love that about Doctor Who, that they had to walk away. And you can tell the Doctor wants to stop it and help, but she can't. She has to walk away. And that is the most beautiful scene of Series 11 in my opinion. Next we had episode 7, which was Kablam. If you want it, Kablam it. Basically, it was evil Amazon. Or maybe it was just Amazon in general. I mean, after all, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but in the news, like recently, an Amazon robot did actually attack some workers So are the Kablam men real? And for working for Amazon, maybe Dan really did die. Illuminati confirmed. Anyway, so just having a bit of a joke there. It was a good episode. It was a bit of a... Sorry about my language. No, I'm not going to swear. It was a bit rubbish that it was bubble wrap bombs. But I'm glad it was kind of... They did go for this extremism. Kind of, this guy wants to fix everything. He doesn't like the way that they've got rid of humans. There's only 10% of human workforce. It should be more, you know. But that was quite good. But overall, I was a bit disappointed that that girl died. I can't remember her name, but it would be nice if we'd have got to... What would have been good is if they'd done a second series of Class, and Kira, I think she was called, would have been in it. But sadly, they killed her off. But maybe we could go back in time and find her. Anyway, it reminded me of Closing Time from Series 6, where they're in the shopping mall, and they're saying, oh, 7 people have gone missing this week. We don't know why. And then it turns out that the Cybermen are under the shopping mall, they're surging in the energy, you know, and the power kept going down in the episode as well, which was so cool. I was just hoping that they were going to be kind of somehow Cyberman related, but they don't think of things like this. Only the fans do, unfortunately. But it was so much like a copy of Closing Time, but without James Corden's character and them sort of playing on to it, and without Cybermen really. But it did have a similar vibe with people going missing and the technology being the problem, you know, Cybermen. But all in all, fantastic episode, come on. Anyway, next of all, we had episode 8, The Witchfinders. Now, when I first heard they were doing this witch trial episode, me and Dylan were talking, and we both said it would be awesome if the Doctor got tried for being a witch. And they did it. I was watching the episode, and when she got arrested, there was like, she's a witch, she's waving her magic wand, you know. It was obvious, but it played into the plot, you know. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, she must be a witch because she's talking nonsense. It fit well, and I actually enjoyed that plot side of it. It really did, for me, feel like it worked. She did give him this big speech about there's so much out there in the universe you can change, and I'm so glad that he just went, drown. You know, he didn't care, he didn't listen to anything, he didn't have this momentous change in his mind. He stayed the same belief that women were witches. It'd have been better if they'd have burnt the Doctor at the stake, and that she'd have actually disappeared for the rest of the episode, and the companions like Yaz and Graham would have had to Ryan would have actually had to solve the day, and right at the last minute the Doctor turned up and was like, I've been watching you all along, you know, this is what you are, mud monster, you know, even though it just looked like a pile of walking diarrhea. The villain of that episode, it was a good concept, but they were a lot more creepier when they were just like zombies walking. Then they were creepy. When they turned into the walking pile of diarrhea, it looked rubbish. The CGI was a little bit off, so, you know, but overall, it was an okay episode. It wasn't my favourite episode of the series, but it was a good episode and a well-written episode. Next, we have episode 9, which was It Takes You Away. Now, It Takes You Away, all in all, was a great episode. It had its ups, it had its downs. I'm glad that they did actually hire a blind actress, you know. The whole... she was a very intelligent girl as well, but it'd have been better if she'd have actually... They'd have not mentioned the mirror to her, and she'd have stumbled in, and that had kicked off them having to go into the mirror, rather than just being like, oh, something's not quite right, and Graham finding it. It'd have been better if, in the episode, she'd have gone in, and it'd have played a little bit better into the story. Back to It Takes You Away. In Tisha Way was a good episode, you know. I was a bit disappointed that the whole monster outside was actually a bit of a red herring, because it was just a speaker, but at the same time it was quite inventive, and it kind of reminded me of something the Doctor might do. Just like, okay, well, I didn't make a distraction out there, so here, let's just put these on here. For some reason, it sounded like the monster from Vincent and the Doctor. I don't know why, but it did. But when they went to the Mirror Universe, can we just appreciate the detail they put into the episode? I mean, the t-shirts are reversed. Everything's on the opposite side. The Doctor has her earring on the other side, and it was just so. It was literally a mirror. You know, everything was flipped and mirrored, and it did have a lot of detail put into it. So I do absolutely respect the production team for that episode. Writing wise, the episode was good. Again, it was rushed. I feel like the whole middle part didn't work. It would have been better if the monster was actually the flesh-eating moths. It'd have been kind of like a callback to like First Doctor stories, you know. Battle of Ranskoor Avkulos, or whatever it's called. Can't actually remember how they pronounced it. It got to a point where obviously the Doctor's conveniently got these mind things on. There's a guy with short-term memory loss, and technically wouldn't have been able to create new memories anyway. Didn't actually make sense, bit of a plot hole, but oh no, plenty of them this season. And I will talk about my main issue with Chibnall after I talked about episode 10, and we'll talk about the New Year's resolution, etc. So, obviously, we have this whole, you know, Tim Shaw's like, I'm going to do this thing to the Earth, or whatever, I'm going to shrink it down and put it in a crystal for my collection. I'm an Earth collector. What a surprise! You're Brainiac from the DC Universe! Whoa! Blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I thought it was cool, the idea of the story, but it did get very Star Wars DC for me, which, to be honest, one thing I don't like about Doctor Who is when they completely rip off another franchise. So, the Ghost Superman episode, I can't remember what the episode was called, a couple of years ago, Doctor Who literally ripped off Superman, and then the year before it, with Last Christmas, they ripped off Alien with the face huggers. I hated that, but anyway, back to the Battle of Ranskoor Avkulos, or whatever. There's a more, at the start of the episode, the Doctor's like, oh, this planet's going to mess with our minds, so here, wear this. Alright, pretty cool. Hopefully that'll play into it a little bit. So we've had all this stuff, you know, going through the episode. Graham, obviously, and Ryan fist bump. We had that great moment between them. They lock him in a cage, so the chances are he's coming back for Chibnall's final series. Probably he will be the overarching villain of Chibnall's final series. Again, I was a bit like, okay, fair enough, leave him alive, that's fine, although it looks like he could actually escape pretty easily. He wasn't asleep, he was just locked in there like a Kinder Egg toy. I don't know, maybe that's what we're referring to now, Kinder Eggs. But yeah, so the Doctor, to stop the two Orcs from using their minds and destroying, shrinking Earth, and for some reason I looked at the sky when it was happening on the in the episode just to make sure it wasn't happening, but obviously it's just me. So we have this moment when I'm like, alright, okay. So her and Yaz take off these things and they put them on. Now, at that moment, why didn't that planet affect their mind? That's what annoyed me. If I'd have written this episode, I'd have had the Doctor going, ah, ah, and then she'd look up and we'd see Yaz, but instead of seeing Yaz, we'd see the Doctor's mother, which we believe is the woman from The End of Time, or we'd see another Time Lord, or Susan, or another incarnation of the Doctor, or a dead companion that the Doctor feels guilty about. Rose, maybe. I think 13th Doctor Rose would get us so well. Just looks up and sees Rose and she's like, I'm sorry, and you never got to finish. You know, we've got that moment of them just repeating the beach scene, you know, and it'd been massive for fans, but broke his heart, and it'd been great. And we could have had Yaz look up and see the Doctor as her mum, maybe in pain or dying or something, or even her grandmother dying or something like that. And it had messed with their minds, and the Doctor would be like, Yaz, don't look, it's not real, you know, you have to fight it, you have to think that it's not real, you know. It'd have been such a great bit of writing and such a great a great fan moment. But no, they don't do it. And the episode's tied up, all jolly, they go off into the TARDIS, boom, the end. Alright, cool. Oh look, we're getting a look at New Year's special, Resolution. So let's talk about the New Year's Day special. First of all, it's on New Year's Day. Does it bother me? No. It's still within the same festive week, doesn't bother me. The thing that bothers me is that they... Well, to be honest, there's nothing bothering me about the New Year's Day special, actually. I like the idea of the title. It's plain and boring, but it fits. Resolution, it's on New Year's Day, New Year's Revolution, you know. It makes sense. It could also resolve everything. Obviously, the Mirror have recently reported the Daleks are coming back and losing their bronze for the first time ever since 2005. Completely forgetting that we had the shitty Paradigm Time Daleks, so it's not the first time that they've lost their bronze colour. But they realised it didn't work and took them back to the bronze. Luckily, Moffat made a good decision there, for once. Anyway, if the Daleks are coming back, fair play to them. But from what I see from the trailer for the New Year's Day special, I don't think the Daleks are coming back. However, I have no reason to believe, and I'll explain why in a minute, but I have no reason to believe that a certain Dalek isn't coming back. A certain Emperor Dalek or a Supreme Dalek, a Super Dalek kind of, really, you know, like the most supreme Dalek you could get on its own to destroy Earth. Because they have been all throughout Earth's history, you know, since the 1960s, so it would be good if it would fit. But I'll explain why I don't think it's the entire race. The reason I don't think it's the entire race is because in the trailer she refers to it as a creature, not a race of creatures, like the most, the most, I can't remember what she says, but she says a creature, and then, you know, Graham's like, does it have a name? Now, if in that moment she says the Daleks, or the Dalek, then that would make sense, but if she goes Daleks, it'd be like, that sentence does not grammatically work. You know, the Dalek, you can't say a creature and then refer to a race of creatures. You know, it wouldn't work. The Dalek, or a Dalek, or just say Dalek, it'd be cool. And it'd be also a little nod to the episode Dalek. Now, the episode Dalek was a fantastic episode in 2005. It was one Dalek. It was killing people, it was destroying Earth. What if that one Dalek got buried on Earth in Anglo-Saxon times? Now, one thing I do like about the trailer is that it looks like they're going back in time, but they're also going to be coming back to contemporary Earth, but that might just be kind of like the thing that we see, and then it'd say then, and you know, we'd see this battling things, and it'd say no, and then they'd unearth it, and it'd be like now. They probably will do something like that, because otherwise, you know, that's probably what it is. But I don't think it's a race of Daleks, just because she says a creature, but I don't think, but if there is a Dalek coming back, I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't be one Dalek. If it is a Dalek that comes back, it might just be a monster that looks similar to the Daleks. It would be nice to see the Daleks come back, and if they have kept it a secret, how they've done it I don't know, if they filmed in public, because they have filmed exterior scenes, so how they filmed that without anyone seeing a Dalek is beyond me. I don't think it's the Daleks. Because see, any alert of a Dalek in Cardiff or London, wherever they filmed it, any alert of someone saying, oh hang on, I think I've just seen what looks like a Dalek, fans would rush there. They'd get drive, they'd get trains, coaches, whatever. They would be there taking photos, and they would be photos online, but they haven't. So are they CGIing them in or what? But it would be nice if we do get that one Dalek episode, you know, where it's just one Dalek into a Dalek. Was, you know, one Dalek, but it did have other Daleks, but it was a good Dalek. But then we've also got the episode Dalek, which was cool, and it was one creature. But I wouldn't really refer to the Daleks as a creature. I wouldn't call it a creature, I'd call it a killing machine, an exterminator, you know? Maybe that's what Chibnall seems that he would do something like that. Like, does it have a name? The Exterminator. Oh no, Terminator's real, blah blah blah. Anyway, yeah, so that's what my thoughts are of the New Year's Day special and the fact it's called Resolution. Now let me talk about my two main problems with Series 11. Okay? My first and most importantly is Chibnall. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic showrunner, you know, he was great on Broadchurch. But if you look at any of Chibnall's episodes, any of them, from any Stephen Moffat era episode that he wrote, so he wrote, Daleks on a Spaceship, The Power of Three, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, Silly Again, Power of Three. Oh look, hang on a minute, that had a blue-faced monster. I wouldn't be surprised if Chibnall doesn't bring one of his old villains back in his show at some point. Now, my main problem is that we have this big villain and all this stuff goes down, and then right at the end of the episode the Doctor goes, save the day, wow, my Sonic saves everything. Honestly, that Sonic needs to go boom. And the reason they removed the Sonic, I think it was after this, during the 6th Doctor to 7th Doctor run, the reason the Sonic went was because they realised it was being used to fix too many situations. And I hate it with the overuse of the Sonic, because if the Sonic could just fix the day like that, just do it at the start of the episode. There's no point in even doing the story. Just go, turn up, hey, the world's saved, bye, I'm off. Flies away again to her next adventure where she can go zap and get back in the TARDIS. We don't need this 50-minute storyline stretched out as thin as it can get so it's shit. Just for her to go, bzz,